the world had forgotten about Jonas Weaver long before he forgot the world. He lived alone in the marshlands of northern Uganda, a retired wildlife photographer who'd grown tired of capturing life through lenses instead of living it. He had one small boat, a half-broken camera, and the weight of losing his wife, Clara, 3 years prior. A wound that refused to heal. One gray morning, the mist hung thick over the swamp. Jonas heard something unusual, a low, prehistoric bill clatter, sharp and hollow, echoing through the reeds. He followed the sound, part curiosity, part instinct. Then he saw Italiano, a shoebill stork, enormous, slate blue, standing almost as tall as him. Its eyes glimmered with a haunting intelligence. Most people never saw one this close. They were solitary, almost mythical birds, rumored to bow when they greet you. Jonas raised his camera out of habit, but then lowered it. Instead, he just stood there. "Hello there," he whispered, as if speaking to an old friend. To his surprise, the bird bowed. Slowly, deliberately. From that day, the shoebill came often, always around dawn. Jonas named him Kofi, meaning born on Friday. He left fish out for him, though Kofi often refused the offering, preferring to hunt his own. Still, every day, the bird lingered nearby, standing sentinel as Jonas repaired his roof, planted his small garden, or read old letters from Clara aloud to no one. Weeks turned into months, and their silence grew into a language. Kofi would tilt his head when Jonas laughed, and when Jonas cried, the bird would draw closer, resting that massive shoe-shaped bill near his arm. Not touching, just near enough that Jonas could feel the warmth of a living thing that chose to stay. But nature is cruelly honest. One day, a storm ripped through the marsh. Jonas went out looking for Kofi and found him tangled in a fishing net, wings thrashing, eyes wild with fear. Without hesitation, Jonas jumped into the needy water. The bird's beak could crush bone, but Jonas didn't flinch. He cut the net loose, even as the beak snapped inches from his face. Finaji Frikofi stumbled, exhausted. Jonas stayed beside him all night under the rain, whispering softly, "It's all right, friend. You're all right now." By morning, Kofi was gone. No footprints, no sound, just reeds swaying. Jonas waited days, then weeks. The marsh felt emptier than ever. He started to think maybe the bird was just a passing miracle, something wild and fleeting, like love itself. Then, 1 year later, to the day, Jonas heard it again, that same hollow bill clatter. He looked out and saw not one, but 2 shoebills, standing at the edge of the water. One was smaller, a chick, still clumsy, still learning. Kofi had come back and brought his young one. Jonas laughed until he cried. The old bird bowed again, slow and deliberate. Jonas bowed back, tears falling into the muddy water. In that moment, understood sometimes the love we give, even to something that can speak our language, never disappears. It come a spike in its own wild way. That evening, as the sun burned gold across the marsh, Jonas wrote in his journal, "Some souls aren't meant to be tamed, but if you love them gently enough, they remember." He died peacefully years later, with the marsh outside his window. And locals say, to this day, a single shoebill often stands by his grave when the dawn mist rolls in. Love doesn't always need words. Sometimes the purest connections come from respect, not possession. When we treat life, even wildlife, with kindness instead of control, we discover the quiet places where the human heart and nature still meet. If you met something truly wild, something the world told you to fear or ignore, would you walk away, or would you listen long enough to understand its silence?